And you're sitting there and you're just learning, you're just making loads of notes on monopolies, right? And you're like, right, I've done all my notes on Monopoly. I'm now ready for the test. Well, you're not ready for the test because you haven't prepared for the test. All you've done is make notes on and some flashcards on Monopoly just in general. The question is going to ask you, evaluate whether or not monopolies are beneficial for the economy. You've just learned about, oh, did you know that monopolies are price makers? Right? What do you mean by, like, you've just written a line that says monopolies are price makers and nothing else. How can I use that and link that with other aspects? Now, what I mean by that is what you need to do is, well, okay, they're price makers, right? Or they're large firms and they dominate industry. That means that they are allocatively inefficient. Maybe they might be charging high prices. Why are they price makers? Because essentially they own maybe the intellectual property, they have a patent, or maybe they are the sole distributors of a particular product or service, like the railway line. And so then you need to draw, which diagram do you draw? Do you draw the natural monopoly diagram or the normal monopoly diagram, the legal monopoly diagram one? Oh, I don't know. It depends on the context. So if the context is asking about, let's say, Tesco, or let's say it's asking about British Gas or British Petroleum or railway lines, then you draw the natural monopoly diagram. There's so much that goes into it apart from your notes, right? So the question is 90% of it. That's why when you ask me how important is exam technique, it is 100% of the exam. It's so key. And so on EdGenie, when I review essays, for example, every single day, and every week we publicize some of them, right? We do like we do something called essay labs, and there's a question on there, and it goes, let's say there's a question on there that says, evaluate policies to improve the government can use to improve the current account deficit. And this was part of the TikTok video and the newsletter that I sent out this morning. And if you're sitting there and you're doing 2 points that are exactly the same because that's what you've learned, memorized, that's a problem because you're not going to get 50% in that paper because you're using 2 points that end up with the same thing, or they have the same chain of reasoning. So you've got two massive paragraphs with just the same thing. So you're not going to get higher marks on that.